What's up, guys? It is Sam here. Tonight, I wanted to tell you a very interesting story about Elizabeth Warren and Andrew Yang and the awareness around both of these people when it comes to their campaign website. So, if you want to see that, then stick around. In the meantime, if it's your first time here, what's good? My name is Sam, and for those of you who are returning, you had better be pressing that like button. All right, with that being said, let's get into it. So, I was doing research for my website ranking coming up soon, so subscribe, where we rank all the candidates based upon their website and who is the most popular on these three things. We look at the ranking in the US, how they are. So we're on Alexa.com and we're looking at Elizabeth Warren's website. So what you do is Alexa is actually owned by Amazon, and they are a data analytics type of a company gathering information about websites, and then you can pay for a subscription. If anybody wants to do that for me, that would be awesome, and I can get even more data. But in the meantime, we come down here and we'll take a look at this. Her ranking in the US is 4,048, which is awesome, right? She's been gaining more and more awareness over the past 90 days. And you can see this interesting kind of heartbeat of attention that she has that's surrounding her rise, right? It gyrates up and down, but it's always trending up and to the right. It looks like in this time period that we're looking at, she starts out at 34,000. So this means her website is ranked 34,000th in the planet. So that's pretty substantial to start with, and that was 90 days ago. And she's just had this rise of awareness and then drop, and then rise of awareness and then a drop off. Just very, very minor troughs, and up and to the right. And she's currently ranked just under 27,000. Now, we could think about or do some research to understand what happened to call up these gradual rises and then drops of attention slightly, and rises and drops, to try to understand what is happening. But this actually made me take a look at Andrew Yang's, and because I had just looked at his, and Andrew Yang's, first of all, just by overall numbers here, Andrew Yang's website is ranked higher. So this is like people who actually have intent to like go somewhere, right? Because you don't just happen upon these websites. It's not like YouTube where you might just happen upon YouTube. I feel like sometimes that doesn't happen with these candidate sites, right? So people are looking for this stuff. And when you look at this, his is ranked 1745th in the US and on a global 12. So let's just compare that real quick to Elizabeth Warren. He's more than twice as popular according to his website. This is tremendous. And on the global basis, he's also more than twice as popular. I don't know. Kind of says something, right? It's kind of interesting. But what I thought was super interesting was if we took a look at Andrew Yang's past 90 days, and we see that there's an inflection point here. So in July, we have a dropping, just a gradual dropping. It seems to start to decrease the losses and almost like level out. And then what happens, we have a 45-degree angle up and to the right, essentially, for a short few days. And then the trajectory changes from flat to growth. And what that happened to be was the debate in July. And that caused that awareness. And I think that was the tipping point for what needed to, because Andrew Yang has been getting suppressed, I feel like, in the media, and there hasn't been as much coverage of him relative to other people until more recently. But this is just a very more recent thing. It wasn't happening before this. So what that debate that was the tipping point to give him enough awareness to start growing. Like we can see it right here. And then we jump up, right? And it's got just steady growth up and to the right. And then we have the next debate, and this is where he gains more awareness. This doesn't look as up and to the right because he does have that first heartbeat of what Elizabeth Warren is experiencing, right? She's got a lot of awareness, but it's going up and down over shorter periods of time. So if we take Elizabeth Warren's interest as like much closer to maturity of the maximum amount of exposure she could be getting, or like kind of her potential ish. I mean, not, and I'm not trying to box her in or anything, but it's much of a most mature, more race. Not, no, and I don't mean in age, in terms of the popularity of where she's going. Like she's growing, and it's up and to the right, but there's not. It's kind of like a mature growth rate, like in business. You know, you might have like a really amazing year, and it's like a 5% growth rate. But I don't think, and I'm there. It looks like the growth rate we have here. Actually, let's take a look at this. And I apologize, I didn't think about this until right as I was actually doing this. But look at this here. Let's put them side by side. That's an interesting view right there. Whoops. If I don't keep fucking it up. That's an interesting view. And I just, these higher gyrations on Elizabeth Warren just indicate to me, because I feel like she's been in the spotlight a lot more than he has over a longer period of time. So there's more of a maturity in terms of the people who are aware of them, like the low hanging fruit essentially of awareness around politics, right? The people who kind of casually pay attention to politics but aren't like really into politics. Like she's at that level now, and now everything else is like incremental. As you can see right here, there's just an incremental growth, but the growth rate is the same. But when we look at Andrew Yang's, it's almost as if he's at the very, very early stage of that, where the more he's still like just gaining the growth, where he hasn't got to that almost like he hasn't finished picking all that low fruit, where the awareness for him is still building. So it's going to be very interesting. This is a I don't know where this can go. If this is accurate, this could be really, really big, because this is a big difference that I'm seeing right here. And I have no idea if what I'm talking about right here is going to play out in the increased growth rate for Andrew Yang. But if you are a finance dude or gal, then you know that like a higher standard deviation or higher volatility tends to be worse for I mean, like you get a higher return over time. So that might be beneficial because it seems like there's a higher volatility to hers. But you could also look at it the other way, as still there's a shitload of low hanging fruit that Andrew Yang hasn't even picked up yet. Which when he picks up all that, he might be at a higher slope of awareness. But we'll see, and we'll continue tracking this in the future. So if you want to watch those, make sure you press that subscribe button. Don't forget to press that thumbs up button and share this with somebody else who you think would get value from it. Peace the fuck out. Now I gotta get back to where I put my camera.